and the loss of life has to be stopped. Any consolation in all this, all the gang killings in this city since 1967 have been solved by police. I'm sure that is no complete cure-all, but I think there's a lot of things that have to be done. Machinery, swift justice, punishment, severe punishment for this type of violence, which don't happen too often in this city.
What are you going to police personnel to do the type of things you want to do towards solving the gang problem?
Well, as I mentioned, there are many things that I would like to have, and again, they're limited because the money's not available. But if money would be available from the federal government, we could increase some of the programs that I've just mentioned. We could become involved in other programs. We need equipment and all the other things that we could, in other words, the money that we now receive for in our budget, by the way, it's almost $82 million, and I'm sure it'll be a lot higher this year because of police overtime, etc. But there's many things that we want to do to provide for the people in this community, which the money is not available to us now.
Is this your hope for this in this committee hearing, that it might shake down a little federal money?
Well, I hope so. I've been before so many committees so many times that I'm getting a little tired. I've been through 3 or 4 committees, investigations, and we haven't received any money yet. I'm hoping that as a result of this appearance with other city officials that money is available. If it's not, I hope it's just not the same wasted motion that we've been through so many times.
Right. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Good luck to you. Thank you. Okay. Chairman Pepper, what do you hope you'll be able to achieve by your hearings here in Philadelphia today?
We are hoping that we will be able to learn facts to determine whether or not there's a need for greater federal assistance to the state and local authorities in combating crime in the streets, and particularly gang crime in the streets, greater degree of aid than is now being received. This is a part of a general investigation into crime in the United States, which our committee was set up to investigate by the House of Representatives last year. And we are hopeful that we can propose to the House of Representatives, and therefore to the Congress, federal programs and recommend more funds if we find there's a need for it, which will enable state and local authorities more effectively to deal with the challenging matter of street crime here in Philadelphia.
Why did you choose Philadelphia, Mr. Chairman, for these hearings on gang warfare?
Well, our distinguished member of the committee, the Honorable Robert Nix, representative in the Congress from the Philadelphia area, brought to the committee's attention the problem of gang warfare, which you were having here in Philadelphia. But also, we've been having hearings in other parts of the country. Boston, recently in New York, Washington, Baltimore. So this is a part of a series of hearings we've been having all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast and in the South and the Middle West.
Many of the people that I've talked to here in the last few days, the people of Philadelphia, are certainly happy the hearings are being held here, but they seem somewhat pessimistic that anything might come out of it. They've had investigations before on this problem. What makes you think that you may be able to convince Congress at this time that more federal money is necessary for combating this type of crime problem?
Well, in the first place, so far as I'm aware, no hearing upon that subject has been held in Philadelphia by a congressional committee. The previous study was by the state authorities at the instance of the Attorney General, and they made a good study, but they didn't deal with the federal aspects of the problem. We are here to determine what more federal assistance is needed, as the editorial in the Philadelphia Inquirer indicated this morning. Now, the hope that we have that Congress will listen to our recommendation is the fact that Congress has been giving an increasingly large recognition to the need for federal assistance to the states and the local community in combating crime. Hardly any community in the country is able to deal with this subject alone. It is a matter of national concern. The amount of federal assistance has steadily increased. For example, this year, we've authorized $650 million for the Law Enforcement Assistance Administration, federal aid to the states and local communities, $1 billion the next year, $1.5 billion the year thereafter. and the House has already appropriated $480 million. So we are steadily increasing the amount of federal aid to the states and cities and communities in trying to meet the problem of crime in the streets, which is so much a matter of concern to the people.
One last question, Mr. Chairman, before you begin your hearings. I know it's perhaps premature to ask you this before you start your hearings, but I'm wondering what your initial impressions might be as to where federal help essentially should go in Philadelphia, whether to the law enforcement branch or to the social agencies who are trying to get at the root problem that causes the social conditions that breeds gang crime.
Well, as you have suggested, the matter of crime is a massive challenge. There's hardly any single facet of it which is the solution to the whole problem. We're going to try to get the facts first and then determine where the federal aid can be best bestowed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good luck with your hearings.
Thank you a lot. Glad to see you.
Good to be with you again. Bootman, why did you join a Philadelphia gang in the first place?
I don't know. I guess it was a thing, like, when I was living in South Philly when I was younger, it was just like, you know, like, you be going to school, you swing out with a group of fellas, and, like, you just form a gang from there, you know, and you go from there, and you grow up with them, and, like, it'll be a gang there, and so, like, you just automatically be a part of it from being friends with the fellas.
Did you have to join it? I mean, was there pressure on you if
No.
you didn't join?
No, you didn't have to join it. But it was, I think, you know, it was a thing like feeling like some kind of security, you know, like just belonging to something.
Why do you think there is such a problem with gang warfare here in Philadelphia? Why is it such a big problem in Philly?
And in Philly, but truthfully, like I look at it towards like it's a lack of opportunity and it's like recreation facilities throughout the city, you know, and it's a lack of, say, really things for the younger fellas to do, you know, like. It's limited on jobs. There's no place for them to go. There's nothing for them to do. So they stay on the corner, you know. And like it's a thing like it's activity to them, you know, fighting among each other.
That's their recreation, fighting, eh? Have you ever been in gang? Bootman, have you been involved yourself in gang fights and killings?
I've been in gang fights, but not in no killings.
Ever seen anybody killed?
No, not off the back. But I had a couple of friends of mine that got killed, and I've seen them, you know, before they died.
What do gangs fight over?
Oh, well, truthfully, like, it's a number of things. It can happen behind a girl, it happen behind one gang might beat up a fella from another gang, you know, and just kick off from there, you know.
How do gangs operate? What sort of organization do they have?
Well, like, truthfully, I think that gangs, they have what I might say is really what I call togetherness, because like each of them will look out for one another. None will let nothing happen to the other one. You know, they really have unity in a gang.
Do you think they get something out of a gang that they might not be able to get from their family if they come from a broken home?
Well, yeah, because it seems like, say, by being in a gang, you are really loved, it seems like, by all the fellas, you know, like everybody love each other, you know, very much so. Like I said, they're not going to let nothing happen to each other. When at home, you know, like, you might, you know, it's a high thing, and it's it at home, you know, when you come out in the street, your friends, they treat you like you are their brother, you know, just like you're their blood, and y'all be together every day, all day long. So it gives you more to look forward to about being with them than being home.
Let's take that question once again. There's quite a lot of noise there. I'll ask you again. Why do you think fellas join gangs here in Philadelphia? Is it because they lack something in their homes?
I think that a lot of them do, you know, and it's like I say, it's a thing of like feeling secure, you know, about doing something, like belonging to something, which like they might not receive at home, you know, the love and affection, so that they get it from their friends on the street. Like the corner boys, you know, they're always together, they be together day in, day out, you know, and it's like, it's a real sweet thing, you know. Just having your friends love you, you know, like you don't get from home.
Do the gang members themselves get into a lot of trouble because they're committing criminal acts or getting into trouble with the gang, trouble with the police?
Well, like, yes, I would say so. Like, a lot of it, you know, is behind, like, it's like being a gang member. Like, you know, gang war, you know, it's automatically, but going to jail if you get caught and if you hurt somebody. Then, like, there's certain fellas in the gangs, like, they might get together and like it's no work, so they be on the corner and they want money for something. They go in there rob something or somebody, to get it.
When were you first arrested and why?
And I think first time I was arrested, I think I was about 9, and it was for a burglary.
Burglary that you did with the gang, through the gang?
No, it was just me and another friend of mine.
What happened to you? When did you first get into trouble with the police, Bootman?
I think I was about 9. I said between 7 and 9.
What happened?
Well, like, it was a burglary. Me and a friend of mine, we burglarized a store.
And what happened to you?
Oh, like, they locked us up. They took us to Youth Study Center. Called my mother, she came and got us, we had a hearing. They let us go.
And then what? Did you go to reform school finally?
Not till, I'll say, some length of time after then I went to reform school.
And did you meet other gang leaders there? Or,
Well, I met a lot of other gang members and some gang leaders, from different gangs throughout the city.
what did the reform school do for you? Did it help you at all?
Hold on a minute.
Bootman, what did reform school do for you? Did it help you at all?
No, I know. Truthfully, I don't think so beyond the fact that, like, while you are there, like, you meet other fellows which are older than you, which are there for more serious crimes. And, like, they always tell you how you can, when you get out, how you can commit a crime and get away with it, And, like, the supervisors that be there, my true opinion is, like, they don't really, care too much about whether you be rehabilitated or not, and you always learn more and worse things out of being in reform school. When you come out, you know more about how to get into things than you did before you went in. So I don't think that'd do anything for you.
And did you get into more trouble when you got out?
Yes, I did.
Like what?
Like burglary, that's my thing. I burglarize, and still, like, as I go in and out of jail and learn from people about burglarizing, each time I come out, that's all I'll do is burglarize.
How do you think the police are handling the gang war problem here? Do you think they're doing a good job or not?
Truthfully, no, not a good job. I mean, like, I think that the job can be done better, but see, like, it's a thing, like, I don't know, see, like, the police and, like, older people, they cannot relate to gangs like younger people can, and, like, I guess, like, that's what it's really going to take is for younger people, to stop the gang problem, not the police, because they will not stop it.
Well, as a kind of an old head, are you able to mediate any problems with the gangs and try to stop some of the violence now?
Yeah, well, like, not only me, myself, it's 21 of us that we finished the program, Urban Leadership Training, which, like, we all do, stop gang fight, stop gang violence, and a lot of killing. And, like, since, we finished the program, it's been less, gang fighting throughout the whole Manchester area.
How do you try to control that? How can you stop a gang fight?
Oh, well, see, for one, like,
How can you stop a gang fight, Bootman?
well, there's a thing that, most of the people here in the Manchester area, like, we know anyway, most of the fellas from, the different gangs. And it's like, when it's a gang fight, like, just come up to them, like, we know who are the runners and, who are the check holes, and we talk to them, we talk to the other fellas and see why can't we have it hooked up so we're, like, just 2 fellas can fight, and get it over with instead of having, 50 or 60 fellas out there shooting each other constantly.
Right. What other ways do you think the gang problem might be diffused a little here in Philadelphia?
Well, truthfully, I think that, like, if it was more, say, like, youth programs, where youth can be involved in, and it would give them something to look forward to besides staying on the corner, like, I think that would, like, decrease a lot of gang violence, if they had, say, like, programs like Urban Leadership Training like we had, like, all the younger fellows, they talk to us and say, why can't we get involved? But it's a lack of money in the program, like, it was done, really on experimental base, and it worked, and like, everybody wanted to be a part of it, but, like, they just can't, and I think if there was more programs for the younger fellows, like, it'd make a hell of a lot of difference.
If you had it to do over again, would you join a gang again?
No.
You think it can be avoided?
Yes, I think by all means it can.
Right. Good. Thanks, Cesar.
All right,
Bootman, why did you join a Philadelphia gang?
Well, like, I guess it was a thing of, like, just belonging to something,
Yeah.
Like,
Bootman, why did you join a Philadelphia gang?
well, like, I guess, like, it's a thing, like, belonging,
Bootman, why do you think kids join gangs here?
Well, like, truthfully, I feel like a lot of them join gangs down there.
Did your time in reform school help you at all?
No, it didn't. It made me worse. Like, I don't think that.
What did you do after you got out of reform school?
Well, I turned to be a burglar, and all I did was burglarize, and steal, and hustle.
Do you think the police are doing a good job in controlling gang violence here?
No, I don't. But I think that they can do a much better job. But I think it's going to take younger fellas.
Danny, how did you get started in the gang?
Well, I got started in the gang when I was about 12 years old.
Danny, how did you get started in a gang?
Well, I was 12 years old. My brother got in some trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Well, he was over at this gym over at the school, and there was a gang already organized over there. And he came back and he said some boys was over there bothering him.
Hold it for a second. Danny, how did you get connected with a gang?
Well, I started out when I was 12 years old, and my brother got in some trouble over at the gym over there by Market Street through school. Some guys was bothering him, so he came back over here. So it was 6 of us. So we went over there and we started checking things out. So we got in a fight. And so after that, more of our friends heard about we were fighting these guys. So more of our friends, we started getting together. Then after that, we just organized the gang. So we started out with 6 of us. And then we
How big did the gang get?
around about almost 200, 300 of us.
How did you recruit guys to join the gang?
Well, you don't recruit them. Like, they just, like you knew them from school, and you play with them at the playground or something like that. You're good friends, so they just come along with you, Well, you say, well, we're friends, Whatever happens to you happens to me, Because I might get in trouble one day. I might need you, and you might need me. So we just stick together. So everybody just started sticking together. And then after that, we organize a gang, and once you get enough power, then you feel as though you can tackle anything. So we just kept at it. Like, we started out.
Hold it, Danny. I'll ask you that again. So, Danny, you organized your own gang. You didn't really join an old existing gang.
Well, the gang was here, but they were older guys. See, they was older, so I was only around my 12 years old, and some guys were 13 and 15 years old. I was about the youngest one. And, but they were older guys, older heads around my age now, But, we couldn't be around them because they was too old.
Right.
But then we originally, we got ourselves together as young guys, like we call ourselves peewees. Right. And so we was affiliated with the older guys from down here. So we just got ourselves together that way.
How does the organization of a gang work? What sort of duties younger fellows have and how you work your way up? And how do you choose a leader?
Well, you choose a leader on how, like he got heart, he's not afraid, and he got sense, and he knows what to do, and he know how to give orders, and he don't send you into something stupid that he wouldn't do nothing stupid that he wouldn't send you into nothing stupid that he wouldn't do himself. So, and he proved to you that he can lead you, and he's. You can, he's worthwhile, for somebody to follow him. So, you just say, wow, he's all right, And you got to be well-liked. You can't be like a bully beating up people all the time, Well, if you well lack and they figure you got enough sense and stuff.
Well, you were a leader in the gang yourself, weren't you?
Well, I had a lot of say-so. I had a time to be the leader when my brother, he went to jail. My two brothers, because my brother, he ran the gang. My other brother was second runner. And when they went to jail one time, I was, everybody thought that, I was supposed to be running the corner. But I turned it down because I figured, I couldn't handle it, So I just let one of the other fellas run the gang.
Right. What do you fight about? What do you fight about with other gangs?
Well, some of the things are stupid, like girls and, like one guy, they might get in an argument. And these two guys might jump on one guy, and so you just go and case it out, and there's a gang war. And it comes out, sometimes pretty bad, and they last pretty long.
Yeah. What's the worst gang war you've ever been in?
Oh, which gang war I've been in? 42nd Street, going to school and stuff, Of course, this is constantly, no rest, because you had to go to school.
Yeah.
And you fight, going to school, fight in school, and fight to get back home. And this is an everyday thing.
What about, though? Just because you're a... Well, Danny, the organization of the gang, how does it work? And where do girls fit into a gang?
Well, girls fit in the gang like girlfriends, So, like we be in a place like stores, they have a little dance, play the record player, pinball machines, And so, like they be the female part of the gang, So they be with you all the time. And sometimes, before, the girls even got the gang fighting. The girls even got the gang fighting. And but that didn't last too long, because girls ain't, they got older.
Yeah. Do they have any specific duties to do in the gang?
The girls? No, because most of the time, they just be around, dancing and partying, most of the time.
What was the worst gang fight that you can remember being in, Danny?
Well, one time, one night, well, it wasn't the worst, but it was pretty tough though. Because all of them are bad, because you don't know if you're gonna make it back or not, Well, it was up at 39th Street, and it was really tough because it was a head-on thing, and it was no backing off, and everybody's just out there just going for it, People getting stabbed, people getting knocked out, people getting hit in the head with bricks, right up on each other,
Anybody get killed?
No one got killed, luckily, but it could have been, a lot of people got pretty messed up.
What was that fight over? What started that one?
Well, it was over some girls. Because we were going to see some girls up at 39th Street, and they didn't like it. And so one of the fellas said something to one of the girls up there one night, and she went and told some fellas, and they didn't like us no way. So we just started fighting from there.
You ever been involved in a gang killing, Danny?
No, not in a gang killing, no, actually, no. But, one of the fellas from down here, he did get killed, When I was the last one to see him, the police came and held me for 48 hours, At first, they must have thought I did it at first, But, it's come all found out down to it, I didn't have nothing to do with it.
How did he get killed?
Shotgun, shot in the chest, head, and all in the arms and stuff.
What was the motive? Why did they kill him?
Well, at the time, they was gang war, and the younger fellas was gang war. And he wasn't one of the younger fellas, and he was on his way home. And him and the guy had an argument earlier that day. He was pretty high, he had himself well together, because he can really hold his liquor. And he was going home, and he never did make it.
What happened after this gang member of yours was killed?
Well, everybody went into, revenge. Well, he was a well-liked guy from down here. And, you know, we always been together and all that. So the best thing I could, everybody say, eye for a 9, 2 for a 2. Let's go and get him. So that's what we went out to do.
And did you get him?
Well, we was catching them, but luckily, you know, none of them was killed. I mean, but at the time, it would just been too bad if I should say, we really went out, you know, really put a hurting on him. And, you know, it went on until his brother decided for it to stop, you know. And so,
How did
it's
he
just
stop
stopped. Well, he said we were fighting over his brother, you know, he didn't want nobody fighting over his brother. Everybody was using that for an excuse to get at the Empire gang. But, you know, Jerome was a well-liked guy down here. And we would figure, you know, like if it could have been my brother, it could have been me, it could have been you. And we would do the same for all of us down here. And he should have known that, you know. But then, you know, he just went on out, you know, and after he started speaking with the enemy, being around the enemy, and, you know, well, we just didn't like it, so we just stopped. So everybody figured, well, if he ain't gonna fight and jeopardize his life for his brother, why should I, you know? And even in the movies, was only one movie down here, but now they don't have that no more. Either you gotta go in town up on 52nd Street, and you might not get in a fight downtown, but up on 52nd Street, that's when you run into some more gangs. And, you know, that's the top, and this is the bottom, you know, and they don't like it.
What kind of experience have you had with the police and your gang?
Well, when I got locked up for gang fighting the last time, because they beat them, you know, and you know, and it's a shame, you know. They take you downstairs in the ring, you know, ask you, do you want to fight him, you know, fight him fair. Oh yeah, you think you're gonna get a fair fight? You get them downstairs, 3 or 4 of them, they jump on you.
You mean fighting with the policeman?
Yeah,
asked
they
you
ask
if you
you for a fight. You want a fair fight? Yeah. You say, all right. Like, you be dumb if you do it, you know. And they take you downstairs, and the pal, where they got the boxing ring at, says, all right, you know you can whip this cop, because he ain't nothing. Next thing you know, you land one good one beside his head or something, you can forget it, because you ain't coming upstairs where you came down.
How do you think the police should handle the gang problem here?
Well, the way they handle it right now on the streets, I remember gang wars used to last for hours, you know? But now, they don't last not even 5 or 10 minutes.
You mean the police are right there to stop it?
Can we have
When
that
they-
question again, please?
Yeah.
You could buy them, burglaries, get them from people's houses. Some of them, they even try to beat up cops and take them.
What type of weapons do you prefer?
In the gang war, at first, when we first started out, that's what we were doing, like bows and bricks and stuff. Then, you know, like you get tired of getting shot at. So you say you got to fight fire with fire. So we start getting our stuff together. So shotgun is the most thing used in gang war, sawed-off shotgun, pistols, rifles, cocktails, knives, zip guns, bricks, bows, you know, that's always there to be thrown, you know. So they use all this.
You understand?
Danny, how do you think the gang war problem here can be cooled a bit?
Well, the way you can cool it is do what we just did, you know, with ULT, getting gangs, leaders of different gangs, let them sit together and let them work together. And you find out, I didn't believe it was going to work at first, but you know, when we stayed together for 21 weeks, things have really cooled.
How does it look for this summer? What's the scene right now? I mean, there was a little girl got killed, a bystander, a few weeks ago. Think there's going to be some more fighting and cutting this summer?
Well, where did this happen in North Philly, didn't it? Well, yes, North Philly is a very hard place, you know, to get through to people over there. But I could speak for here from Mantua, it's not going to be that much. Because we went through all through.
What about this summer, Danny? Do you think the gang situation is going to be bad?
No, not here in Mantua. No, because we're still together. The guys in ULT, all from different parts of gangs in Mantua. And I believe it's going, as long as we stick together, everything will be cool.
Good, thanks. Danny, why Philadelphia? Why is the gang problem so bad here?
Because there's nothing to do, there's no recreation.
Okay.
And that.
You don't have to answer fully. Danny, how did you get started in the gang?
Well, when they started messing with my brother one night over at
How do you arm yourself?
shotguns, 32, tear gas.
How does your gang arm yourself?
Shotgun, cocktails,
Okay.
zip guns.
How does the gang arm itself, Danny?
Shotgun, zip gun, shotguns, zip guns, cocktails. Well, when they came to get me at home, at first they said they wanted to talk to me. But as soon as they got me outside my house, they started beating me in my head, slapping me around and stuff, So they got me at the police station. They had some of the other fellas up there, their mouths was all busted, and, they were beating on them. They beat you into, telling what you have done, That's how they got it out of, some of the guys up there, I don't know, again. Well, they're not doing too good. But they, all right.
How do you think the gang violence problem can be cooled a little bit in Philadelphia?
Getting more gang leaders together and getting them down the table.
Wait. Danny, have you ever been involved in a gang killing?
No. No, I haven't.
How does the gang organize itself?
It's organized itself through friends and some relatives. And,
You want to look at them sort of movement? Yeah, John.
Okay. Danny, how did you get started in a Philadelphia gang?
Well, I got in with my brother and the office. We was together, and my brother got in trouble.
What do gangs fight about, Danny?
Girl, in some place where you ain't supposed.
How did your gang arm itself?
With shotguns, zip guns, cocktails, 38s, anything.